Early in the morning, dozens of gods with unique appearances are gathering peacefully. Here in the Indian pantheon, there is no single god yet to rule the existing 1,000 gods. Then, there are these two young gods. While Shiva, the god of destruction, likes to relax and fool around, Rudra, the god of the tempest, disciplines himself with a strict training to become stronger. Looking to have a good time, Shiva often distracts Rudra from his training. The two boys have completely opposite personalities, but they are very good friends. The village is attacked by a bunch of bully gods from Asura. Rudra asks Shiva to come save the village with him. Shumba, one of the butchers from Asura, is bullying villagers and mocks Shiva and Rudra. His subordinates follow and laugh out loud. Shiva walks up to Shumba, gives him a headbutt right in his face. Rudra and Shiva fight hard against the bullies from Asura and kicks them out of their village. Even fighting, Shiva enjoys every moment he spends with his friend, Rudra. One day, the two boys are talking about their futures. While Shiva is not so ambitious, Rudra talks passionately about his dream to become the ruler of the Indian gods. Shiva makes fun of him. Rudra headbutts Shiva, but ends up hurting his own head and growls in pain. Looking up at the beautiful steep rocky peak of the towering mountain, "Together with you," Rudra tells Shiva, "we can climb to the top and see the views nobody has ever seen." For Shiva, he is happy as long as they are together. Two gods give big smiles at each other in agreement. They will now walk together to make the dream come true. Rudra and Shiva took down anyone who challenged them, leaving piles of defeated gods behind them. Now everyone prostrates before the two young gods. They are unstoppable. The two gods fought against gods in different shapes and sizes, winning every fight easily. Every time they win, their burdens become greater as they take over the weight of every defeated god's hopes and dreams. But they continue to fight. The boys came to fight Agni, the god of fire, and Valna, the god of water. It was an easy win. Rudra is getting tired, but Shiva still has a big smile on his face and dances around fallen opponents. Rudra is eager to advance more, and this time they fight against Indra, the god of lightning. Shiva is not so keen to fight, but he follows Rudra and fights anyway. The fight with the lightning god was the toughest one so far, but the pair manages to win again. Rudra now obviously looks exhausted, yet Shiva is still full of energy. He laughs and dances to celebrate their wins. They move on to have many more fights so they can come closer to their dream to stand on the peak of India. Rudra and Shiva now fight against Brahma, the creator. This was their last fight against 1,115 gods. It is a big fight surrounded by spectators. The two boys won, and now they finally stood at the top of the Indian pantheon. Shiva and Rudra finally stand at the rocky edge of the cliff. They are looking down at the world below, admiring the view from the top. As usual, Shiva fools around, but he looks back on each fight with delight. He loved every moment he spent with his best friend Rudra. Rudra is staring at Shiva with a serious face. Then, Rudra reminds Shiva that only one fittest god is allowed to stand as the ruler. That is a rule we cannot break. We cannot betray all the gods who bravely fought us. Shiva didn't say anything, but they both knew the time has come to fight against each other. With a fist bump, their last fight between the two best friends start. The tremendous fight shakes the rocky peak. It was the most ferocious fight India has ever witnessed. The sweat from the fight created a rainstorm, falling over the spectating gods. The sun came up again. The long fight is getting close to the end. Shiva's strong fist hit Rudra's bleeding face fiercely. Without saying a word, Shiva pleads Rudra not to get up. They both know Rudra wouldn't survive if they kept fighting. With teary eyes, Shiva begs Rudra again not to get up. Yet, Rudra gets up once more, because he cannot give up on his dream to become the god's ruler. Shiva remembers his childhood days. Two boys were always together, the closest friends anyone could ever have. Suddenly, Shiva gets down on the ground to declare his defeat, but Rudra cuts in and declares his defeat first. The spectators watch in amazement. Shiva stares at Rudra with disbelief. Rudra complains to Shiva that it is disrespectful to throw away a fight like this, but in his heart, he knows that his best friend was only trying to let him win. Then Rudra announces respectfully that Shiva is now the ruler of the gods of India. Spectators quietly nod in agreement. The two boys bump their knuckles again. Rudra stood up with a big smile. Shiva is realizing the heavy weight of his burden now. Shiva's flag waves high in the blue sky. As the ruler, Shiva knows that going forward, he has to go separate ways from his best friend. Shiva fights in the big arena, carrying hopes and dreams of all gods he fought. Rudra is also there to watch the fight. Familiar faces among spectators are the ones who fought Shiva and Rudra in the past. They know firsthand how strong Shiva is, but they also know that he has a gentle heart. They are excited to witness how their new ruler fights today, against a humankind. Shiva dances smoothly around the fighting arena with a distinct rhythm. He is the only god who mastered this cosmos rhythm. Spectators full of Colosseum are mesmerized by his moves. Then Shiva shows off his Shishi Mai, the lion dance. Shiva keeps dancing around his opponent, Tamimon Raiden. He is a humankind, but he is twice as large as Shiva. Raiden fights back hard, but Shiva seems to be untouchable. Shiva's move is blurred in Raiden's view. While Shiva throws punches and kicks mercilessly, Raiden doesn't even know what is happening. Shiva continues to dance around Raiden. There is one spectator smirking, wishing for a chance to fight Shiva one day. Quietly rage, Raiden pumps up his muscle, getting ready to fight back. Shiva's body is getting damaged from his own war dance, but he kept on fighting anyway, as he knows that it is the cost he has to pay to use the skill which can be mastered only by the strongest of all gods. The fight continues fiercely. Shiva throws a raging high kick on Raiden's pumped up chest. It was Kritivasa, the burning kick. Shiva thinks he has won the fight. Raiden's flesh is burning from the deadly kick. He watches the smoke coming out of his own chest. Spectators think the fight is about to end, but Raiden does not fall. He quietly waits for the smoke to stop coming out of his chest. Shiva is surprised to see Raiden's smirking face. Raiden's fellow sumo wrestlers watching over the fight knew that he does not fall so easily. Raiden was waiting for this moment, where he could truly wrestle with his bare fighting spirit. Back in Tamimon Raiden's beautiful home country, all the kids practiced sumo wrestling in his mountain village. Tarakichi was the smallest and skinniest kid there, but he was so strong. He was very strong, but he was also a very lonely boy, as his strength scared other kids away. Tarakichi's strength was given by gods as an answer to his mother's prayers. His sweet mother prayed every day to gods for a boy's strength. Because Tarakichi was born very weak, he almost did not survive. Her mother gently hugs him and tells him how proud she is of her sweet son. She tells him to always use his strength to help weaker people. Then, the village was hit by a series of natural disasters. People were starved from a great famine. Persuaded by his parents, Tarakichi decided to leave the village at age 17. His mission was to send money home to save the village. The journey was long and hard for young Tarakichi. Tarakichi knocked on Urakaze's sumo training dojo to ask for little change and some food. Urakaze, the dojo master, invited him to fight to see if the young man is worth his pity. Ozeki, the top wrestler of the dojo, agreed to fight Tarakichi. Ozeki tells him that he has to leave if he is not strong enough. The fight begins between Ozeki and young Tarakichi. In a second, Tarakichi was thrown on the ground and told to leave the dojo, but Tarakichi gets up and fights back again and again. He was never defeated back in the village, and he is quite excited to wrestle with real fighters here, so he decided to stay. Tarakichi trained very hard, day after day, learned the basics, developed his strength and improved his fighting skills. He is not the type of kid who would easily give up. Year 1790. With his new ring name, Tamimon Raiden, Tarakichi made an official fighting debut in the local sumo competition. The huge traditional fighting venue was full of excited crowds. It was an overwhelming victory for Raiden. The crowd absolutely loved him. This is where his legend started. In a cheering crowd, Raiden wins fights after fights. Nobody would believe this kid was once so weak, his mother had to pray to the gods to save his life. But the glorious days didn't last long. The public fever slowly diminished, and it was casting shadow over Raiden's popularity. Urakaze, the dojo master, suspected Raiden is losing fights on purpose. Raiden confessed to his master that he feels conflicted to fight, because he is supposed to use his strength to help people, but fighting is the only way of life he knows. So they came up with 4 forbidden sumo moves. By restricting certain sumo skills, he can avoid destroying the opponent completely during the fights. Thereafter, Raiden kept on fighting for 21 years, 285 fights, losing only 10 times. He was effectively undefeated. People called him Raiden, the Invincible Fighter. Remember to check out the part 2 of the video in my channel. Don't miss out.